don't know me, my name is Stephanie Grosvenor, and I am one of the co-founders and the formulator of our amazing vitamin G blends, our nutraceutical blends. And we started this masterclass series at the beginning of the year because one of the core pieces of who we are and what we do at Vitamin G is not just about helping you to heal your body through supplementation, but it is incredibly important for us to ensure that we are educating you and empowering you with all the tools you need in order to heal your body, rebalance your body, and just take your health to the next level. When we take our health to the next level, we elevate our entire lives. It impacts every single aspect of our lives. So I would love to kick this off with you guys while we're waiting for a few more people to join. Pop in the chat. Let me know something good that happened for you guys today, a highlight of your day. I would also love to hear from you. Pop it in the chat. Anything specific that you are hoping to get out of tonight's class, or anything specific that you want me to cover tonight. I am not going to be doing questions through the presentation, but I will be taking questions. We're going to leave 15 or 20 minutes at the end where I can cover all the questions that you have. So pop in the chat. Let me see. What is it that you guys want to learn tonight? What are you looking forward to getting out of this masterclass? Or something good that happened in your day? I want to get to know you guys. Let's admit a few more people. I'm just going to tell you right now, I've had the worst day. I'm not going to lie. Has anybody here had one of those days? Do you know what I'm talking about when I say it's one of those days where if something could go wrong, it went wrong? And that was completely my day. I didn't think it was going to start off that way, but between airports and car rentals and visa issues and admin issues and delivery issues, it's just been anything that could have gone wrong today up until now went wrong. So I'm just very grateful that I made it back in time for this masterclass, because I was worrying about that. And then to top it all off, on my way home, the car broke down on the side of the highway, guys. I was literally stranded in the middle of nowhere. But a very important lesson I learned today that I want to share with you guys is I was reminded today that even in the difficult times, even in the challenging times, whether that is a day, a week, or a month, the universe has your back, and there are good things that come out of it. There are always good things for us to notice during times of stress or difficulty. And even though today everything went wrong, the amount of people that stopped to offer me help on the side of the road, the fact that my family dropped everything that they had to at 4 o'clock today to come and fetch me, I got documents printed that I didn't think was going to happen. Just everybody was so nice and so kind and so helpful. And at the car rental place, they didn't charge me for a bunch of stuff they were supposed to charge me for. And it's just, my point with this is, even in difficult or stressful times, there are always good things happening to us and for us. But we get to be the kind of people that can actually recognize that, because not everybody is. So let me see in the chat. Your win, you booked a ticket for a ballet show. That's exciting. Yes, always something to be grateful for. All right, my friends. So let me kick this off. I'm going to share my screen and we can get started. Okay. I cannot see the chat while I am presenting for you guys. So please, the more engaging you are in this masterclass, the more you are going to get out of it. So please put your questions, put your comments. If thoughts come up for you with what I'm sharing, some of the things I'm sharing might be new to you, might be a different concept. But engage with me, engage with us in the chat. We're not in the same room. The only way that we are going to stay connected or connect better is through the chat. So the more you engage, the more you are going to get out of this presentation. I cannot see the chat while I'm presenting, but I promise you I will come back to all your questions at the end. All right. So welcome to Calm the Fire Masterclass. A little bit about me. Actually, on that note, guys, I would love please, I'd love for you to put in the chat. This is the 5th masterclass that we have done. And I want to gauge how many of you have been attending, and also where you're coming from. How much do you know about me? How much do you know about vitamin G? So put in the chat, if this is your first masterclass, put 1. If you've done 2 or 3, put whatever number in the chat of the masterclasses you've attended. If you've attended 2, put 2. If you've attended 3, put 3. Let me see. I'd love to see how many of you guys. First one. Ooh, a lot of first timers tonight. Second, 4th. Fleming, I love it. I love seeing you here again today. Every month. So we do this on the very last Wednesday of every month. So many new first timers. Amazing, amazing, amazing. All right, this is my second. So on that note, for those of you who don't know me, why should you be listening to what I'm sharing with you tonight? What gives me or puts me in a position to have any kind of credibility to share on how you can improve your health? So I am a certified holistic nutritionist and functional medicine health coach. I qualified through a few different organizations in the US many, many years ago. I am the co-founder and formulator of the Vitamin G blends, and I'm also the owner of another company called Unlimited You Health Coaching. What got me into this work was my own 15-year battle that I had with metabolic syndrome, IBS and digestive issues, chronic fatigue, inflammation, and even autoimmune conditions. Through functional medicine, nutrition, and lifestyle change, I was able to heal my body, and I'm now on a big mission to help others do the same. Over the years, when I started this healing journey, I dropped 25 kilograms. I was struggling a lot in my 20s with obesity. So I dropped 25 kilograms. I got rid of cystic acne. I got rid of the inflammation in my body. I healed my thyroid. I reversed my Hashimoto's. I had a diagnosis of fibrocystic breasts or fibrosis. I reversed that completely. And I gained food freedom in terms of, I had so many food sensitivities in my 20s that it got so bad to a point where even drinking water used to cause me severe stomach pain. And I'm now at a point when I say food freedom, I shouldn't be eating gluten and sugar and all those kinds of things. But if I do, I no longer get the reactions that I used to get to ingesting those foods. So food freedom is something very, very big part of my healing journey. And then at Vitamin G, over the last 3 years, we have helped thousands of people all over the country regain their quality of life through our blends. And through my coaching services, I've helped people all over the world to reverse illness, overcome their IBS, and once again, live a thriving life. I've been doing this now professionally for 6 years. From a coaching from a coaching perspective. But on a more personal note, I am an avid traveler. Anytime I get an opportunity to travel, it lights me up. I live part of the year in South Africa and part of the year in the US. I'm a very firm believer that we can't always choose our circumstances, but we are responsible for creating the life that we want to live, the life that we want for ourselves. And for me, it was always very important to establish a home in a couple different places. So that's exactly what I've worked at doing the last few years. I am a dog lover or animal lover in general. The beach is my absolute happiest place in the world. I get overly excited all day about everything, whether it's the color of the sunset, the greenness of the grass, the fact that this is the most delicious tea I've ever drank in my life, but it's the same rooibos I drink every day. I just get overly excited all day about everything because life is beautiful. I have 3 very real addictions in my life: hot yoga, acupuncture, and tacos. And then I love teaching. I really love teaching and empowering people and encouraging them to live outside of their comfort zone. I live outside my comfort zone every single day. I had to live outside my comfort zone to even be willing to put myself on camera or do classes like this, which 5 years ago is something that never would have happened. And the reason I bring that up is because it's going to take you living outside of your comfort zone, stepping outside of your comfort zone, if you want to implement a lot of the things that I teach you, if you want to heal your body. We can't, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So we can't do the same things over and over again expecting different results. We need to allow ourselves to step out of our comfort zone, to experience something new, to create something new. And then the wrongs that I'm trying to right in this world through all the work that we do is the epidemic that we live in currently of chronic stress. Everybody is stressed, and it's just become so normalized, and it's making us sick. And the second one is the belief that disease is inevitable and completely out of our control. So at Vitamin G, we are here to show that that is not the truth, and we are giving you the control. These masterclasses are here to give you the control, to empower you, to remind you that you have it, and now it's yours to take and put into action. So on that note, tonight's masterclass about calming the fire is all about inflammation. Inflammation is at the root of all illness and disease. But what is inflammation? We need to understand the real situation. We need to understand it for what it truly is. I remember before getting into health, sort of growing up, when I heard the word inflammation, my association was pain. You have inflammation when there's an injury, and that inflammation causes pain, which is not wrong. But then the only other thing I knew about inflammation is that you take an anti-inflammatory to get rid of the pain, and that fixes the problem. That was my understanding of the situation. As I said, you cannot have illness or dis-ease in the body without first having high levels of inflammation. It's impossible. I see there's a couple people. There we go. You cannot have high levels of disease. No. Guys, we can't allow you to take to record this on your end. I know sometimes it's automatic. I see some requests coming up to record the masterclass. You will receive a recording of this, but we cannot allow you to record it on your end. All right, so you cannot have illness or disease without first having high levels of inflammation. It's absolutely impossible. So we have two kinds of inflammation that we are experiencing. Inflammation is a good thing. We need it. It keeps us alive. If we didn't need inflammation, our body wouldn't have the ability to create it. Everything that happens in the body happens for a reason. There's a reason why we have these processes, these innate abilities, and the body's ability to create inflammation is this innate ability that the body has. Now, acute inflammation is a good thing. This is what helps us. This is if you have an injury, let's say you get a splinter in your finger, you can see, look at the, see these purple little guys on the screen. See that as the inflammation soldiers. I love to think of inflammation as little soldiers that the immune system sends out. When there is a threat, when there is an injury, when there is a problem in the body, the immune system sends these soldiers to that area that is injured or infected or under threat, should I say. And this inflammation will gather around that infected or that weakened, that area that's under threat, and protect it while the body heals itself. The moment the threat is taken away, the inflammation goes away. The immune system says, okay, soldiers, come back, retreat, you are no longer needed. But during the time that the inflammation is around that weakened area, it causes pain, it causes a lot of warmth, a lot of heat, causes redness, and it causes swelling. We know that when we get a splinter, or we cut our finger, or we knock our shin or our pinky toe against the coffee table, like gets really red, really swollen, really painful. It's because inflammation is there. There's some internal bleeding happening. There's some internal damage. There was a trauma on your body part. So inflammation, the soldiers are sent there to protect it. This is a really, really, really good thing. The problem comes in when this acute, this temporary inflammation turns chronic. When we have chronic inflammation, or what we could also call systemic inflammation, it's when inflammation then runs throughout your whole body. When this happens, it is like a fire within your body. I don't know if you've ever watched a video or seen how fast a wildfire can spread. In a matter of 3 minutes, it can burn down an entire room. It's crazy. It spreads. That's why we have a saying, things spread like wildfire. And inflammation spreads like fire through the body. Now, think about fire. If you put your hand close to an open flame, close to fire, it's going to get burnt. Anything you put near fire is going to get burnt. If you hold it there long enough, you're going to feel the heat, and eventually it's going to get burnt. This is what's happening within your body when you have chronic inflammation. it starts to damage your surrounding tissues and surrounding organs. Because you're holding your hand against the fire too long, it's going to get burnt. And this is the thing, the soldiers are out there, the inflammation is out there, and it's not called back. That switch is not turned off. So this chronic inflammation starts to eventually damage other organs and tissues and systems within the body. The thing is, we need to understand, where is this inflammation coming from? And I'll actually jump into that in a minute when we get to autoimmune conditions. But we have to, the body doesn't just decide one day, let's send out soldiers and just keep them out on the battlefield. Inflammation is a good thing. It's there to protect us. The soldiers are sent out in response to a threat. It is a good thing that it is happening. Inflammation is there to protect us. It happens for a reason. So the solution to getting rid of inflammation is not to block the production of it with over-the-counter anti-inflammatories, with medications, with prescription medication. That's not the solution. We've got to ask, why is the body creating it? Where is that weak point? Where is the enemy? Where is the threat? What is threatening my body that is causing my immune system to create such high levels of inflammation? If we can identify the threat and remove it, the inflammation goes away. There's no need for anti-inflammatories. There's no need for over-the-counter medication, because the soldiers are pulled back. The soldiers are sent home. There's no more inflammation. There's no more pain. There's no more swelling. There's no more fatigue. There's no more food sensitivities, all these kinds of things that come with inflammation, because it's turned off. Now, how many of you, and this is not out of I'm not asking this out of any kind of judgment, it's really out of curiosity. Anytime I ask a question, I'm honestly just curious. I want to gauge where you guys are at so I can speak into that. And I'm just curious, put me in the chat if you are somebody who currently uses anti-inflammatories, over-the-counter anti-inflammatories, or what we often call NSAIDs, your non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. That's things like, I've got to think of the name, the South African brands. Is it Tylenol or ibuprofen, acetaminophen, paracetamol, your Panados, all those kinds of things are anti-inflammatories. Now, what tends to happen, and if you're somebody who's ever even used them in the past, what tends to happen is that these over-the-counter anti-inflammatories actually cause more inflammation in your body. And this is really important to know, because there's going to come a time where you may need anti-inflammatories, or somebody in your life may need them. And everything has a time and a place and a purpose. But these things are not supposed to be used long-term. Because what happens when you take those over-the-counter anti-inflammatories, they're not getting rid of the irritation or the threat. It's like taking a hose pipe and the water is running and putting your hand on the end of the hose. You're not stopping the water. You haven't turned the tap off. You are just blocking that water for a moment. The minute that you take your hand off of it, there's so much pressure that is built up because you never turned the tap off, that all of a sudden you have all this water shooting out everywhere. There's so much pressure that built up. And this is exactly what is happening when you're taking an anti-inflammatory. It's not fixing the problem. It is like putting your hand over the hose pipe. It is blocking the inflammation. It's blocking the inflammation sort of receptors. It doesn't stop the production of inflammation. And the moment that anti-inflammatory wears off, you've got this flood of soldiers that's sent into the body. This is why you will start to feel that you have an increased need for anti-inflammatories, because now there's more inflammation sent into the body than previously. So before, you might have used one anti-inflammatory in the morning and maybe one in the evening. And then you realize, hang on, this isn't lasting me all day. I'm still experiencing pain more frequently now. So now I take one in the morning and one in the afternoon and one at night. And now all of a sudden one isn't cutting it anymore. Now I need two in order to get the same effect, because the inflammation is increasing within your body. The thing with anti-inflammatories is it blocks two parts. It blocks what we call the COX-1 and COX-2 receptor. So what that means is it's blocking the receptor that creates inflammation, but it's also blocking part of the cell that is anti-inflammatory, that's sending out anti-inflammatory messengers. The guys that are pulling the soldiers back to say, come, we don't need you. It's blocking that. Therefore, areas that were naturally being combated with anti-inflammatory properties within the body are now no longer protected. So now you've got more inflammation in different parts. Is this making sense, guys? Just say yes, say no, say I'm confused. Let me know. Does this make sense for you? Yes, yes, yes. My aunt now has spine issues due to overuse of anti-inflammatories. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yes. Guys, these drugs are powerful. We take them temporarily thinking we're just going to get rid of our headache, or we're just going to get rid of our back pain or our knee pain. And then before we know it, we've been on it for 5 years and we don't realize that there's consequences to these things. All medication has side effects. All nutraceuticals have side effects. All nutrition has side effects. But the side effects of nutrition and nutraceuticals are positive side effects. The side effects of pharmaceuticals and prescription medication, and I'm generalizing here, but it often has harmful or negative effects. So just something to be aware of. Okay, how are we doing on time? Yeah, I better hurry up. This is always the case every month. Okay, so signs of chronic inflammation. How do you know if you have inflammation in your body? Inflammation is actually known, we call it the silent killer, because you can have extremely high levels of inflammation in your body for years without really noticing it, because the way it is showing itself, the way it's trying to warn, the body's trying to warn us, is often overlooked or neglected. Inflammation in the body is like a warning sign on your car's dashboard to say there's a problem, we need to get it checked. And if there is something on the dashboard flashing on your car, you are going to go as fast as possible to get that looked at, because you know if you leave it, damage is going to happen to the car, you're going to break down, it's going to cost you a lot of money to fix if you don't take care of it now. So we're very fast to take care and check what those warning lights mean on our car. I bloody wish that there was a warning light on the car today. There was nothing, and I sat on the road for an hour. But the body is giving us warning signs all the time in the form of excess weight, of joint pain or chronic pain, of headaches. And we often brush this off. Like, I don't have time to actually deal with this, or I've had it for so long, it doesn't really matter, or it's not really affecting my life, so I'm just going to leave it. We can't leave these things, because these are signs. It's your body's way of talking to you to say, there's a problem, I need your help. So excess weight, if you are really struggling to lose weight, that is often a sign of inflammation, because often it's not just excess fat we're carrying around, it's actually this layer of inflammation. When you feel puffy, when you're like, my body's in here somewhere, but there's like this layer on me, a lot of that is inflammation. So it doesn't matter how well you're eating or how much you're exercising, if you're not turning off those taps in your body that's causing the inflammation, that layer is not going to go anywhere. That scale is not going to move. So excess weight, joint pain or chronic pain, headaches, another sign of inflammation, brain inflammation, low energy or fatigue, or always feeling tired. When your body is using up all its energy to fuel the soldiers for the fight, there's going to be very little energy left for anything else. And then skin issues like acne, eczema, psoriasis, these kinds of things, all severe discoloration within the skin, that's all signs of inflammation, rashes on the skin, hot flushes, rosacea, these kinds of things. Food sensitivities, big sign that there is inflammation in the gut, as well as abdominal pain, other digestive issues like constipation or diarrhea. You know that there's inflammation in the gut. Your body's trying to get something out. Autoimmune conditions, like I said, you can't have any dis-ease, you can't have any illness, any disease in the body without first having high levels of inflammation. And then brain fog. So you don't have to put it in the chat, but just ask yourself. There is 1, 2, 3, there's 10 points that I've listed there. So think for yourself now, how many do you currently experience? And these are the most common ones. I'm sure there's a couple that I may have forgotten. So what drives inflammation, guys? What are the main causes? Because we are coming into contact with things every single day that is causing inflammation that we are unaware of. So I'm just gonna take a sip of juice here. Talking too much, I get very thirsty. So what drives inflammation is, number one, of course, it's your food choices. Now, the biggest inflammatory or inflammation causing foods would be your seed oils. So that's things like your sunflower seed oil, your safflower oil, your canola oil. I know this many years ago was promoted as a heart healthy oil. One of the biggest lies and most damage that the Heart Health Association did to us, to humanity, was the lie that canola oil is heart healthy. It is not. It's highly inflammatory. So your sunflower oil, safflower oil, canola oil, rapeseed oil, those kinds of things, all highly inflammatory. If you're going to use any oil, you want to look at your olive oil, your avocado oil, your coconut oil, those kinds of things. Sugar, of course, we know, highly inflammatory. And often what I notice when I speak with some friends of mine, they will say, oh, I've given up sugar. But what they mean is they've given up putting sugar in their coffee, and they've given up eating just chocolate or an ice cream at night, but they're not thinking about all the sugar in the soda that they're drinking. They're not thinking about the sugar even in the bag of chips. They're not thinking about the pastries that they're eating, or all these hidden sugars that we come into contact with. So when we give up sugar, or when we're looking at minimizing sugar, it's not just your white table sugar that you're putting into your coffee. Processed foods, of course, highly inflammatory, and then preservatives, which is what we find in a lot of all our processed foods. An imbalance in your omega-3 to 6 ratio is a huge driver of inflammation. So this is something that 95% of the adult population globally, not just in South Africa, globally, 95% of adults are out of balance. What this means is omega-3s is a healthy fat, and omega-3s bring down inflammation within your body, but omega-6s actually bring up inflammation. They cause inflammation. Now, we need to have a balance of omega-3 and 6, but most of us, we get a lot of omega-6s from food, and the body naturally produces them every day as well. So we have high levels of omega-6s. But omega-3s, we can only get through food. Our body doesn't create it. So most of us have very low levels. And then this ratio is completely out. So we want to close that gap. And when you close that gap and you get your omega-3 to 6 ratio in balance, that will bring down inflammation. Nutrient deficiencies like vitamin D and, again, omega-3s can lead to inflammation. Not can, they do. Lack of quality sleep. If you're not getting good quality sleep, and I'm not talking, don't confuse quality with quantity. You might be getting 7 or 8 hours of sleep at night, but are you waking up 3 or 4 times in the night? Are you still waking up feeling very tired? Your sleep quantity and your sleep quality are very different. If you were getting only 5 hours of sleep, but you were getting really good quality sleep, you're going to feel way better than somebody who's got 8 hours of very light sleep, not deep sleep, not REM sleep, not your restorative sleep. So the body cleans itself out at night. There's so many things. I'm going to do a whole masterclass on sleep because of how important it is. But there's so many things that happen within the body when we sleep. Our brain gets cleansed of toxins and inflammation. Our whole body gets cleansed of toxins. And if we don't cleanse the toxins, if we've got too many toxins, which is on here as well, that high level of internal toxicity is going to be a huge driver of inflammation. So we want to be getting good quality sleep. And then a sedentary lifestyle is also driving inflammation. And I don't know why there's a 9 in there. Oopsie, it should be a bracket. But a sedentary lifestyle, meaning a lifestyle where you are not moving your body very much, that will create a lot of inflammation as well. So walking less than 4,000 steps a day is seen as a sedentary lifestyle. Even when I saw that statistic, it scared me quite a lot. I was like, wow, okay, I definitely need to move my body more, because you might be doing some exercise. This has been my challenge and something that I focus on, because even though I maybe do resistance training in the morning and some yoga in the evening. And I'm like, oh, I'm good. Like, I'm fine. I'm moving my body, but I'm still sitting for like 10 to 12 hours a day. And that's not on. Like, that's a sedentary lifestyle. So we want to be getting our steps in daily. And then gut and digestive issues, your leaky gut, your dysbiosis, any kind of gut issue will massively drive inflammation within the body. And I'll show you now how. Buildup of toxins, as I said, and then a sluggish liver or impaired detox pathways. These are two different things, guys. If you have a buildup of toxins, it may just be that you have too many toxins coming into your body and your liver cannot process that. You could have a proper, well-functioning liver, but it cannot handle the load of toxins that you are putting in. And when I'm talking about toxins, I'm not just talking about things like alcohol and cigarettes or vaping. Like, that's the common thing that people think about when I'm talking about toxins. I'm talking about the air freshener that's in your car or your home. I'm talking about the pesticides on your food. I'm talking about the makeup that you're putting on, the perfume that you're spraying. All of these things are toxins. And research shows that we expose to over 200 toxins or chemicals by the time we leave the house in the morning. This is insane. It's very understandable when you think of, you brush your teeth and that's got the fluoride, and then you're in the shower and you're washing your body and your body wash has chemicals, and then your body lotion has chemicals, and then your moisturizer has chemicals, and then you putting makeup and that's got chemicals, and then you're going to drink your morning coffee and that's got mold and pesticides, and you, like I say, you're eating your blueberries for breakfast and that's got pesticides and all these different things. So it makes sense that there's over 200 chemicals we're exposed to just by the time we leave the house. And then by the time we or not by the time we get home, but by the end of the day, our body is fighting just over 1,000, on average, just over 1,000 toxic chemicals a day. It is nuts, guys. And there is over 2,000 chemicals in circulation regularly, in circulation today, that didn't exist 40 years ago. So our bodies were not built to deal with the amount of toxicity that we are dealing with at the moment. Put in the chat the word detox if you want me to do a specific masterclass just on liver detoxing, toxins, that kind of thing. If you want it, I'll do it. I cannot overstate this enough. I'm literally actually drinking Detox Shield now. Like, I drink it every single day because the amount of toxins that we're exposed to. So yes, you have a buildup of toxins that drives inflammation, or you can have a sluggish liver or impaired detox pathways. And this is something that I deal with as well. It's just genetically, and 46% of the population have the same thing I do. You may just have not had your genetics done. So if you've got impaired detox pathways, it means you cannot take on the amount of toxins that the average, like, healthy person would be able to. It's almost like you have a 1-lane highway instead of a 5-lane highway. We've all got the same amount of cars, but our cars are trying to go down 1 lane and everybody else has 5 lanes to deal with. So there's a big build up that happens. And this is why I say that also causes inflammation. It's not just the amount of toxins we're taking in, but if your liver or detox pathways are struggling. And then methylation issues, which ties in with these impaired detox pathways. If you have something, a genetic issue, what we call the MTHFR gene, if you have a mutation on that gene, which again, 46% of the population has, it's something I'm dealing with as well. If you have a struggle, if you do struggle to methylate, you then struggle to detoxify as well. Methylation has to do, and I'm not going to get deeply into it now, but it has to do with your body's ability to create energy, your body's ability to detox, your body's ability to protect you from disease. So if you have a methylation issue, we are at higher risk for autoimmune conditions. We don't detoxify well, and naturally our inflammation level is a lot higher. So we want to be looking after our methylation pathways. And then medications, like I said, over-the-counter anti-inflammatories drive inflammation, but also everyday medications that you might not think of, your headache tablets. Sleeping pills. I know that's a big thing that a lot of people are sitting with. I've worked with clients, and I do like a very deep assessment intake form when I onboard somebody, when I'm working with them privately. And I've had situations, I've had to go and edit that form now and ask specifically, do you use any natural or prescription sleep aid? Because I have a whole questionnaire on sleep, a whole section on sleep. And I would be working with somebody for like 5-6 months before they tell me, oh, I'm thinking of getting off my sleeping pills. I'm like, what are you talking about? We've spent so much time on sleep. How have you never told me that you're on sleeping pills? And they're like, oh, I've been on it for so long, I didn't think it really counted as medication. So I know this is a big thing for a lot of people. So your medications like sleeping pills, even your birth control, antidepressants, all these things really drive inflammation within the body. And then lastly, I don't know why I didn't put it on here, it's a huge one, is internal infections. And these infections could be a bacterial infection, that could be within your gut, it could be a viral infection, or it could be a parasite. And these infections aren't necessarily just in your gut. You could have a virus in your liver, you could have a parasite in your liver, you could have a parasite in your heart. And these are often hidden. It's not something that your doctors are always testing for. Because even if you do like a stool test, you can see if depending on the stool test you're doing, they might test for 1 or 2 specific overgrowths like H. pylori or something like that, but most of them are not looking for a variety of parasites. They're not taking your stool and saying, what can we find in here? They're taking the stool and saying, is there X, Y, or Z present? They're only looking for very specific things. And if you've got a virus or a parasite sitting in your liver or in your heart, like that stool test isn't going to tell that. So there's these parasites or these infections. That's why we call them hidden infections. They're not out there in plain sight for us to see or test for. So that's what's driving inflammation. This is where I wanted to focus on, because 70 to 80% of your immune system, which is the part of the body that creates the inflammation, 70 to 80% of this lives in and around your gut microbiome. This is why gut health is central to everything. So I've got a picture over here, blown up a little bit bigger. And for those of you who have attended the masterclasses before, if this is your second, third, or fourth one, you've seen this picture before, because I literally mention leaky gut in every single masterclass, because it's central to everything, because it plays such a big role. Over 70% of people are dealing with leaky gut to one degree or another. And that is a ridiculous statistic, my friend, for a condition that didn't even exist 40 years ago. There was no such thing as leaky gut or gut permeability. Fast forward 40 years, and 70% of people have it. It's not a made-up condition. It's a very real thing. It's just insane. Like, if this has come to light, if so many of us are dealing with this, we have to start asking why. Like, what are we doing wrong? The human race hasn't sat with this, and now all of a sudden, in the past 40 years, 70% of us have it. Like, there's a problem. So, what leaky gut is? Your gut lining, your colon, is only one cell layer thick. It's very, very, very thin. And these cells are tightly packed together like this, like you see on the left-hand side of the picture. And the only thing that gets through, if we're looking like, how do I show you this? If this is your cell, your colon, and this is your gut microbiome, this is your gut wall, and on this side is your immune system, as you can see in that picture. Now, the only thing that's getting across this wall into your bloodstream and your immune system's getting exposed to it, the only thing that's supposed to be going through there is vitamins and minerals, so that it can go into your bloodstream and your blood cells can transport it to different cells and parts of the body that need those nutrients. Now, what happens when we have gut permeability or leaky gut? Those tight junctions that we have start to open up, and they become leaky and permeable. Now, all of a sudden, it's not just vitamins and minerals that are getting through. It is undigested pieces of food. It is toxins. It is bacteria. It's all these things. And the immune system is going nuts, because the immune system, if you look at this picture over here, The immune system is sitting on this side. This is your gut at the top. This is your cells, your gut lining. This is your bloodstream with your immune system. Your immune system is going absolutely nuts because look at the right-hand side of all these things that are coming in, all these invaders and these enemies. So the immune system is creating insane amounts of inflammation every single day with everything we are eating and drinking and taking in. Because even the toxins that are supposed to be absorbed and put into our poop to be eliminated are now sitting there and getting reabsorbed into your bloodstream. And this is causing the reactions. If we look down here, this is causing your food intolerances or food sensitivities is a better term. You might find that every few months you are intolerant to more and more foods. This is because your immune system is creating a reaction. If you used to eat chickpeas and now you can't eat chickpeas, it's because you've eaten chickpeas, it's escaped into your bloodstream, basically crossed this gut barrier, and your immune system, knowing that I don't want chickpeas in my bloodstream, like this shouldn't be here, has created a reaction to it, a response, an attack. Now, every time you eat chickpeas, you're getting that reaction. The good news, though, is when you heal that leaky gut, you are no longer going to have those reactions to foods. Foods intolerances and food sensitivities are different. That's a different topic. This, again, if we look at the bottom, creates systemic inflammation, and it's also what leads to autoimmune conditions and nutrient malabsorption. If you see these finger-like structures at the top of your cells, that's what we call villi. And it's those finger-like structures that are responsible for taking the nutrients and pushing them through into your bloodstream. When we have a problem within the gut, these villi either become paralyzed and they can't absorb those nutrients, or they get covered. Like, let's say with candida, for example, if you've got a candida overgrowth, it could create a layer over these villi, and then they're unable to absorb the nutrients, and this can lead to nutrient malabsorption and deficiencies. Okay, so how are we doing on time? I gotta move it here. How do we combat inflammation naturally? I don't think you're going to be surprised at the first thing I mention, because we don't need to use medications. Like, hang on, let me rephrase that. I'm not telling you not to use medication. I'm saying it's not the only solution. There is a lot of things that we can do to support our body's natural inflammatory response. I'm very intentional about making choices that are anti-inflammatory, that do not drive inflammation within my body. But going back to everything that I've just shared with you about what causes inflammation, the toxins and the pesticides and all these things, I know my body creates inflammation every day. I know that. I'm not going to escape that. We will never have zero inflammation, by the way. You will always have some sort of inflammation, because there are parts of the body that's being restored and repaired and damaged internally that we don't even know about. So to have small levels of inflammation is fine. Low levels of inflammation, we just don't want it chronic. So I take care, I'm intentional about keeping that inflammation down as best as possible every single day, so it doesn't build up. I don't want that compounding effect that happens to all of us. Compounding effect is a rule of life. So how do we combat this naturally? Number one, of course, is your food, my friends, your food. So when you signed up for this masterclass, we gifted you an anti-inflammatory recipe book. There's 50 recipes for you in there. We don't create these things for the fun of creating them. I create them for you because I know they are going to be helpful. So please don't let these things just sit in your inbox. Put them to use. This is the first thing I'm talking about that's going to help you combat inflammation. Decrease it is your food choices. Now, you might have heard before that you need to eat an anti-inflammatory diet. You might not know what that looks like. So this is why we've given you the Help Me Heal Anti-Inflammatory Meal Book. Mika, who's on our team, I didn't even introduce you in the beginning. I'm so sorry, but Mika is amazing. She's part of our vitamin G team. Mika, can you please, excuse me, can you please drop the link for the Help Me Heal anti-inflammatory meal plan into the chat? If you guys didn't download it when it was sent to you as a gift, I'm going to pop it, we'll pop it into the chat for you now. And make sure you download and get your hands on that. I'm just checking the chat. I see Lindsay, you say you're unable to see the deck. Can anybody else, you can unmute yourself. Mika, can you see the presentation?
Yes, I can see everything on my side.
Okay. Lindsay, maybe what I would suggest, oh, you sorted. Okay, perfect.
Thanks.
All right, so there's a link for you guys in the chat. What I want to share with you here around food, let me just go back there. On your right-hand side, pay attention to this. On the right-hand side is the traditional food pyramid, where your main serving every day is bread, cereals, potatoes, lots of carbs, lots of starch. And carbs are not the enemy. I'm not anti-carb, but this is the traditional food pyramid. So bread, cereals, potatoes, everything that's going to spike your blood sugar and cause insane inflammation within the body. So they're encouraging you 4 servings a day. Then fruits, again, full of sugar, love fruit, great for you, full of sugar, blood sugar, insulin resistance, inflammation, all these awful things with our hormones and our weight. Then milk, cheese, and dairy, then meat, fish, and other alternatives. And at the top is your fats, oils, and confectionery. Use very sparingly. That is nuts, guys. Nuts. Like, if we look at our brain, I know one of the most damaging things that's happened was this fad about this low-fat craze for many years. And it's something I still struggle to break. I see my clients still struggling to break that mindset and that understanding, because fats don't make you fat. We need fats. Every cell in your body has a membrane around it, and that is made up of healthy fats. It's made up of your omega-3s. It's made up of, like, 60% of your brain is made up of fat. And now we want to starve the body of what it's like made up most of. So the traditional food pyramid that is pushed on you is what keeps you fat, inflamed, and sick. If you want to be healthy, energized, and aging well, you get to follow the food pyramid on the left, which is a ton of vegetables, herbs, and spices. And you want to focus mainly on your non-starchy vegetables. Second of all, you want to look at healthy fats, your salmon and fatty fish, your olives and olive oil and almonds and avos and coconuts and all the delicious healthy fats, sardines, pilchards, all those kinds of things. You want to then bring in protein, lots of protein, and more sparingly, you want to bring in your fruits and your starchy vegetables. I would actually, looking at this, I would probably even swap that around. And I would say I would put protein underneath healthy fats. But that is an anti-inflammatory protocol. I'm in no way, shape, or form saying fruit is bad. Fruit has a lot of phytonutrients, a lot of anti-inflammatory compounds. So eat your fruit, but make sure you're not just eating fruit and ignoring vegetables. I generally, just for example, every week when I grocery shop and go to the store, I will buy probably like 8 or 9 different vegetables every week. I don't know, like a variety of 8 or 9, maybe even more. And in terms of fruit, I probably buy 1 kind of fruit a week. I don't include berries in that. Berries for me is just like, that's not my fruit. That's just my antioxidant brain food, anti-aging thing. So I've always got berries. And every week I will only have 1 or 2 other kinds of fruit. I might have like some mangoes and banana or something, or mangoes and apples, but basically have 2 fruits in the house, but we will have anywhere from 8 to 12 different vegetables. So eat your fruits, vary all your food every week. And this is a really good, take a picture of this if you want to, but this is a nice anti-inflammatory pyramid. Now, one of the gifts that I wanted to gift you guys tonight is, let me think about this. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not the kind of person who finds cooking relaxing. I don't mind cooking, but it's not my favorite thing to do. Most definitely. I want to spend as little time in the kitchen as possible so I can spend more time doing other things that I really enjoy. Having said that, I love food. My health and nutrition is incredibly important to me. So convenience is key. But when I'm talking about convenience, I'm not interested in getting any kind of convenience food takeaways, quick and go sort of stuff. Convenience for me is anything that I can do to make the time I spend in the kitchen less. So what I'm gifting you guys tonight, actually put it in the chat if you can relate to that. Say, put the word convenient. No, that's too long. Just put a C. Put a C in the word in the chat if you are like me, who is not a big fan of cooking, and you're like, I just need convenience. I need this to be done quick and easy. I don't have time. Like, yeah, there's a few of you guys. Yes, yes, completely. Now, I'm not going to compromise my health. But they always say, if you want to find the easiest way to get something done, ask a lazy person. Now, I'm by no means lazy, but I don't want to be in the kitchen a lot. So I have found, if you want a quicker, simple way to do anything in the kitchen, ask me, because I promise you I found it. Or a quicker, simple, healthy hack, ask me, I found it, and I do it. So one of the gifts that I'm giving you guys this evening. Mika, can you please drop the meal prep training link into the chat? I created a training that I share with the Health Mastery members, and I give this to all my private clients as well. And this is a 15-minute video training where I've shown you what you can do, how you can actually prep your meals. It's sort of 2 parts. I cover meal planning. How can you plan your meals for the week so that we don't hit decision fatigue? They always say planning, what is it? Failing to plan is planning to fail. So in this training, I'm going to teach you, I'm going to help you to plan your meals out, which doesn't take long. And then I show you how you can prepare your meals ahead of time and do some batch cooking so that you spend in total in a week 2, maybe 3 hours at the most. And the bulk of that is probably done on your batch cooking day. For me, it's a Sunday. That's the bulk of my cooking. Every other meal I make in the week is maybe 10, 15 minutes in the kitchen at the absolute most. And we eat incredibly healthy. We eat incredibly yummy meals. Only 1 meal a week is tacos, but super healthy tacos. And so use that training. Download it now. It's not sent to you guys afterwards. This is one of the bonuses that you get for showing up live. So click that link, favorite it, save it, but make sure you don't leave tonight without accessing that. So that's gift number 1. How to get rid of inflammation is your food. You want to be looking at eating the rainbow. So some common so some top points to focus on with your food, you can take a snapshot, a screenshot of this as well, is again, you want to avoid your processed foods, your sugar, your white flour, and your seed oils, as well as dairy for some people. Dairy can be incredibly inflammatory. If you have an unhealthy gut, if you have any skin issues, if you have any allergies, sinus, you need to take dairy out for a while. But it is very individualized. I couldn't eat dairy for many, many years. I do eat it now again, but I'm intentional with the kind of dairy that's important. When I'm including dairy in my diet, it's normally in the form of Greek yogurt to help get protein in. Your quality dairy, like I say, very, very important. If you are going to eat things like cream cheese or cottage cheese or sour cream, the lower quality dairy, you're probably going to have a much worse reaction to if you were eating something like Greek yogurt from a local farm. And then things you want to focus on is your berries, your antioxidants, a lot of fiber, which is any fruits and vegetables. You want to get your healthy fats in, nuts, seeds, oils, and fatty fish, as well as your grass-fed beef or pasture-raised beef. Now, I know that's in South Africa. That is not something you're going to go to Woolies or Checkers or Pick and Pay and just see this whole beautiful variety of grass-fed beef. It doesn't work like that here, unfortunately. Barbara, for somebody like you, and I don't know if Denise is on tonight, it's easy for us that side because Whole Foods, Sprouts, Trader Joe's, wherever you go, there's always some grass-fed beef options available. But it is not hard to get grass-fed beef in South Africa because there are farmers markets. Wherever you live, for most people, there's a farmers market in the area or nearby. That might not be the case for everybody, but you can jump online. I was looking recently at where I can get grass-fed beef in bulk, and I probably came across 6 or 7 different companies in South Africa, one in the Eastern Cape, one in KZN, that ship to you. So you can create your own box, you buy a little bit in bulk, and you have that for the month. So grass-fed beef is actually anti-inflammatory. It is your conventionally raised meat that raises inflammation, that raises cholesterol, all that kind of stuff. And then again, eat as many vegetables as possible and herbs and spices. So what else besides diet can you do to bring down inflammation? Of course, number 1 is fixing your gut. I just showed you, I spoke to you about leaky gut. If you have any gut imbalances, if you've got leaky gut, every single day, every meal you eat is going to be triggering inflammation within your body. Actually, that was a coincidence. I didn't see that next slide. I just took a sip of this. But support your liver with NAC and glutathione to minimize toxin exposure. As I said earlier, there's over 1,000 chemicals or toxins that we are exposed to daily. You want to correct your omega levels. I mentioned that earlier, that your omegas, imbalance in your omegas are driving inflammation. So you want to correct your omega levels. Get checked, get tested to see where are your levels at. If you've never tested it and you don't eat salmon every single day, then there's a 95% chance that that's one of the taps within your body that is driving inflammation. When I'm working with people to get rid of inflammation, I use the analogy of thinking about inflammation as different taps in the body. If you have multiple taps pouring water into the bathtub, eventually that bathtub is going to overflow and there's going to be water all over the floor. Now, a conventional medicine approach to getting rid of this inflammation is to sweep up, is to mop up the water on the floor. That's what you're doing with over-the-counter medications. You're trying to mop up the water on the floor. But it's never going to stop unless you turn the tap off that's filling the bathtub, the taps. So what I recommend for you, because there's never just one thing driving your inflammation, and this is what I do with clients as well, because we don't want to get overwhelmed. We can't do everything all at once, but start to close the taps one by one. So the one tap in the body is your food. So get on an anti-inflammatory diet and you close off that food, that tap. The next one is fixing your gut. Can you heal leaky gut? Because that's another tap. The next one is to correct your omega level. That's a huge tap. That tap is running constantly. So, and it's such an easy fix. Correct your omega levels, supplement with an omega-3, eat omega-3 foods, and turn that tap off. If you currently supplement with omega, please do not supplement with an omega-3, 6, and 9. You get more than enough 6s, more than enough 9s. You don't need all 3. Just if you're supplementing, you just need an omega-3 supplement, not 3, 6, and 9. So you want to correct your levels. You want to prioritize high quality sleep. Next month, my whole masterclass for you guys is on sleep. This is how important it is. So you need to get good quality sleep. That is leading up to bedtime. What are the things that you are doing before bed? For me, it's not normally sitting with a bright light on my face at 7:30 at night. But you want to look at what are you doing before bed? Are you want to dim the lights? You want to have a cup of tea, whatever the case is. Like, you can create your sleep routine. And if you want to dive deeper into that with me, come join me next month for the masterclass. You want to check your vitamin D level as well. So if you have had this tested in the past and it's come back normal, I challenge you to take a look at that number again, because in conventional medicine, when you're getting your labs back from your doctor, as long as your levels are at 20, they say that you are normal, 20 nanograms per milliliter. They say that's normal. That is shocking, guys. That is absolutely shocking, because for you to be healthy, you need a minimum of 50 nanograms. But ideally, an optimal vitamin D level is 80 nanograms per milliliter. So if you're being told you're fine at 20, but you actually need to be at 80 to be optimal, like, that is an insane gap that we need to fill. I don't want you guys to just function normally. I want you to function optimally. And your normal ranges are based off of the average of 80% of the population. That is how they figure out lab works, lab values. But if 80% of the population is deficient in vitamin D, of course those levels are going to be too low. So you want to get your vitamin D levels up. Walk or move more, whether that is getting a few more steps every day. Maybe it's a 10-minute walk after a meal, or maybe it's just one 10-minute walk a day. If you are somebody who doesn't move a lot, start small and work up to it. But you want to start walking more or moving more. Part of one of the systems within the body that help with detoxification is our lymphatic system. And we have this fluid that flows all throughout our body and gathers up bacteria and dead cells and viruses and all these things. And it will take it to our lymph nodes. So when we get sick, these glands that swell, these are our lymph nodes that are swelling because we've got this virus or bacteria that the immune system's fighting. So we have to have this fluid flowing throughout the body to gather up all these things that cause inflammation. We don't have a pump for that fluid. Like, our heart is the pump that pushes our blood through the body, but we don't have any automatic pump for our lymphatic fluid, which helps with inflammation. The only thing that pushes that fluid up and down is movement. Me moving my arms now is moving that fluid. Walking, the contraction of your calf muscles when you walk actually pushes that fluid through your legs, because your lymph nodes are like in your hips and they are here under your arms. So if there's toxins in your calves or your ankles, how the hell is it supposed to get to your lymph nodes? It has to be pushed up, and that's done with walking and with movement. And then intermittent fasting is a great way to decrease inflammation if it is safe for you to do so, if you don't have high stress levels, basically, and if you're getting good quality sleep, if you are not trying to fall pregnant, and if you are not currently pregnant, then it is pretty safe for you to do intermittent fasting. Again, you want to support your methylation pathways, which basically means, I spoke about methylation earlier. 46% of people are struggling with this. That's massively driving inflammation. And a solution to that is to supplement with B vitamins that are already methylated. Not your folic acid, not your regular B12. That stuff is going to drive inflammation. If you have a methylation issue, 46% of you, and you are supplementing with a B complex or some kind of B vitamin, you are causing more inflammation in your body. This is why you got to be careful, guys. When it comes to supplements, you've got to know what you're doing. You've got to have a brand that you can trust is giving you good quality stuff. Otherwise, you are spending money on things that is actually doing more harm to your body than good, like a B complex for a lot of people. So you want to support your methylation pathways, and then you want to use natural anti-inflammatory compounds on a regular basis. So things like curcumin or turmeric. Curcumin is the active compound in turmeric. It's the thing that makes it orange. Things like quercetin, which is another herb, or ALA, your alpha-lipoic acid, also very powerful at combating inflammation. So one of the ways that we support you with inflammation at Vitamin G is through Inflammation Shield. And what we've done with Inflammation Shield, this is, if you guys if you haven't tried this yet, what we've done with Inflammation Shield is we've actually put together the turmeric, the curcumin, the quercetin, the ALA, all these things that are anti-inflammatory compounds. And we've put that into one blend for you, because we know it is very difficult to know exactly what to take at the right dosages. So if you are looking for something to support your inflammation daily, then Inflammation Shield is an incredible, incredible blend. We also have methylated nutrients inside Inflammation Shield. So we are not giving you the junk that enhances your inflammation, but we are actually helping you to support your methylation pathways, to protect you from disease and to bring down that inflammation. It is a multivitamin, and then we have added all these nutrients that you see on the right-hand side, we have added into Inflammation Shield. And just like with all of our blends, it is in powdered form, and you just a scoop of this every day, and that's what you are drinking. So out of curiosity, put in the chat Inflam or I if you have tried Inflammation Shield already or are using it. Put the letter I. This has been from a perspective of like efficacy, I think, if I could put it that way, this has been my favorite blend of all time. It's absolutely amazing. Inflammation Shield is just, it's such an incredible everyday drink. You're getting your multivitamin, your magnesium. If a deficiency in magnesium can also drive inflammation, because there are over 300 chemical reactions that happen in the body every minute that magnesium is needed for. So when you don't have enough magnesium, that is over 300 reactions or functions in the body that's compromised every single minute. So it's such a overlooked mineral that we need. And again, 75% of the population is deficient in magnesium. It's a non-negotiable when I work with clients. They have to get onto magnesium. So this is the one option, the one solution that we have to support you on getting rid of inflammation. And then we've gone one step further on the website as well, and we offer a inflammation elimination bundle for those of you that really want to tackle this head on. And that's our Inflammation Shield, and we've paired it with the balance oil, which is the balance oil is not my product. It's not our product. We didn't formulate it. It is a omega supplement from Norway. I got introduced to this through the Institute of Functional Medicine a few years ago, and I started using it, and I just had the most incredible response to it. I started using it with my clients, and they were getting the most amazing results. So I contacted the company. I was like, no, we've got to get you here in South Africa. We've got to put you onto the Vitamin G store. And this is just an absolute phenomenal game changer for inflammation. So if you're not too sure where to start, this is a really good option for you. We have solutions for whatever you are looking for. We have formulated these from a functional medicine root cause perspective. So you can rest assured that within the Vitamin G range, we have something that can support you. And when it comes to inflammation, this is the real deal, guys. This is the game changer for you. And then for those of you, as I mentioned, gut issues are a huge driver of inflammation, your leaky gut. So if you are somebody, if you're part of the 70% that is dealing with a leaky gut, Gut Shield is a really great option that can support you, that can help you heal your gut lining. Again, it is also a multivitamin. And then we've put things like L-glutamine and collagen and your probiotics and prebiotics and vitamin D, green tea, all these amazing, amazing nutrients that we know your gut needs in order to heal itself. We've put that all together in one blend for you. So using something like Gut Shield for 60 to 90 days when you're healing that leaky gut, highly, highly recommended. You will be blown away at how your digestion changes and how you feel when you start implementing Gut Shield. So if gut imbalances is driving your inflammation, then this is definitely something we would recommend that you jump onto. you most definitely can use a couple of the blends together if you wanted to pair the two. So for you guys tonight, for attending this masterclass, it's been so good to spend some time with you. What it shows us when you attend, when you register for a class like this and you attend, it shows us that you are serious about your health. It shows us that you are somebody who wants to learn, who wants to know better so you can do better, who is curious about your body, the only vessel we have to carry us through this entire life that we live. And we want to reward that, guys. We truly want to be your ultimate partners in helping you regain your quality of life and feel better. And that's why for attending this masterclass, we offer you a special 15% discount. So on your next order of whichever blend it is that you want to use, we've got blends to support your detox pathways as well if you are dealing with methylation. As I said, that's what I'm drinking now, is the Detox Shield. The flavor for me is just unbelievable. I love it. It's like juice. So for any of the blends on our website, when you use the code FIRE15, you will get 15% off your next order, but make sure you use the code. Mika, can I ask you to please drop the link to the Vitamin G website? And then just make sure you guys use code FIRE15. It is case sensitive, so capital F, uppercase F, and use that on your next order for 15% off. This month, next month from tomorrow, I am actually running, I have a membership, a monthly membership called the Health Mastery Academy. And I know a couple of the members, a few of the members are in here this evening. So for the month of August, I am actually focusing and doing an anti-inflammatory protocol. I'm walking my members through a anti-inflammatory protocol. So what that looks like is for 14 days, you are given a meal plan. You are given very simple recipes to follow. So you don't have to figure out what to eat for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It's all given to you. And like I said, pretty lazy in the kitchen. So you know my meals are going to be super yummy, but super easy. So if that is something that you're interested in, for everybody who jumps into Health Mastery that is on here with us tonight, you can bring a friend with you for free as well, because we know the more accountability you have, the more likely you are to succeed. And we don't just, we have a wellness movement here. This is not just, we're not just a supplement company. We are creating a movement of wellness, and it takes you guys, the community, to jump in and join us on that. And this is why we want, when you start improving your health, you're going to go out there and inspire others to improve their health as well. And you're going to bring them on that journey with you. So this is why we are offering you the option when you sign up for Health Mastery that you can bring a friend or a loved one with you for free. So Mika, if you can please drop the link for Health Mastery. It is 330 Rand for the month, guys. It's insane. It is less than a bag of like one packet of groceries. You can join me for the month and work with me directly for the next 30 days. What you will get for 330 Rand in the August plan of Health Mastery is, as I said, your simple and easy to follow meal plan, a complete shopping list of what you will need, as well as a preparation guide, what to do on what day, how do you prepare for this. I'm also doing live group coaching with the whole membership. And then you get access to my exclusive members only community for support and accountability, where every single day, it's not just me supporting you, but it's every single member inside Health Mastery that's on the same journey as you guys. It is so important when you are making health changes or changes to your health, that you, lifestyle change, that you find and create a support structure, and that you surround yourself with like-minded people. Even to this day, where I sit right now, somebody who lives and breathes health for a living, there are times when my motivation even gets low, where I become a little bit complacent, when life is busy and stressful and I'm not getting enough sleep, and these things happen. It's life. We are all human. And one of the things that helps me get back on track and stay on track is immersing myself with like-minded people. And that could be through listening to podcasts from my colleagues. It could be meeting up in person with friends of mine to do a yoga class. Whatever it is, I have to re-immerse myself with people who are like-minded. I sometimes have to jump into Health Mastery and say, guys, I'm having a really bad day. Like, you support me for a minute, kind of thing. We have a lot of fun inside. So immerse yourself in a community of like-minded people that can support you through this journey of food and nutrition and lifestyle change. And then, of course, inside you get access to me for the next 30 days directly via WhatsApp for support and guidance. And then bonus, this month, we are doing a yoga and stress reduction challenge, which is super fun. I ran this for the members last year, one of the favorite challenges that came up. So I'm excited to jump into that in the month of August. And that's available to you guys. There's a link in the chat that Mika has dropped for you if you would like to sign up. You don't have to get started on your 14-day meal plan tomorrow. You've got the whole of August to do it. So you decide your start date, but come join us. I would love to spend more one-on-one time with you over the next 30 days. Plus, it's my birthday month, so we're gonna have extra fun inside Health Mastery. So my friends, let's embark on this healing journey together. I hope this has been supportive for you, and here is to a healthier, happier you going forward. Now, where do I stop? I'm going to take some questions. I know I've gone over time, as usual. If this is surprising to anybody, sorry. I'm not as far over time as last week, so we're getting better. Mika, let me just take a look. All right, some questions. If you have any questions right now, please feel free to put your hand up, your virtual hand, or unmute yourself. Just say your name. I'll answer your questions, or pop them in the chat. I'm going to go back and just answer some of them that came up. Is Vitamin G considering introducing sachets for travel? Yes, we are. This is actually something we've been looking at for about almost a year now. It is more challenging than what you would expect when it comes to packaging in South Africa. So it is definitely something on the cards for us. It will be coming out sooner rather than later, and we will be releasing it in per blend. So we're not releasing all the blends with travel sachets from the beginning. We will be releasing one blend at a time with travel sachets. But in the meantime, as I also travel a lot, and I love the convenience of sachets. Again, that word convenience and me, that those words are synonymous. But what we have done in the meantime, this is why we also have the travel funnels on the website, the little protein funnels. I have one on my computer bag. I've got one in my handbag. I've got one on most of the bags that I travel with. And that's a really great way. I have one in the car as well. So you can take whatever your dosage is of vitamin G, make sure you fill that up and take that with you on the road as well. I often will have my gut shield in the morning, and I know if I'm going to be out for the day, I put my inflammation shield into the travel funnel so that when I grab a bottle of water at lunchtime, I can just pop that in. I don't understand the question. Where do we receive invoices? If you are on here, Fleming, I don't know if this is you. If you can clarify that question for me, please. Would you say that migraines are related to inflammation? Yes, 1000%. Inflammation can be one of the main causes of migraines, most definitely. However, migraines are a little bit more complicated than that because nutrient deficiencies can also lead to migraines. So specifically, we look at your magnesium. Do you have a magnesium deficiency? 75% of people do. That might be you, that might not be you. But a deficiency in magnesium can lead to migraines, and then a deficiency in omegas as well. Omega-3s can lead to migraines. Something else that is very supportive with migraines, but this is generally when you like a little bit later on in life. So I'm not too sure who asked that question or how old you are. If you are over the age of 40, it could be a issue with your CoQ10, coenzyme Q10. And what I found as well is when women who are dealing with migraines, start to supplement with CoQ10, about 60 to 100 milligrams a day. Obviously, just check with your doctor when it comes to dosages. It's very individualized, but CoQ10 can be very supportive for migraines as well. I hope that was helpful. Oh, and then the other thing I wanted to say, yes, so inflammation does drive migraines, but food sensitivities is something that you have to look at, because when we have this leaky gut, this gut permeability, we have the same thing that starts to happen in the brain. It's called leaky brain, or a break in your blood-brain barrier. And this drives inflammation within the brain, which can lead to migraines. Because think of it now, you've got this leaky gut, and you've got undigested food or toxins that have now got into your bloodstream, and they've traveled in your bloodstream up to your brain, and now they've crossed the blood-brain barrier, and you've got toxins and undigested food and that kind of stuff sitting in your brain tissue. So that causes inflammation. It can cause headaches, migraines. It can cause anxiety, depression, a lot of fear, like a sense of dread or fear, walking around with that might feel like it's very out of the blue for you. So yes, you want to look at food sensitivities, eliminating especially gluten. Gluten is a massive driver for migraines. And I would challenge you, get gluten out your diet for 30 days and see if you experience anything even close to a migraine. Can inflammation cause depression or anxiety? Yes. So that, I've just touched on it now, and that's got to do, number one of the ways is your blood-brain barrier. Your depression and anxiety is less to do with inflammation and more to do with an imbalance in your gut and the gut-brain axis. So this, again, is probably a whole nother masterclass that I could teach on. But as I said, when we've got the leaky gut, toxins, undigested food leaks into your bloodstream, that travels up to your brain, that can get stuck in the brain tissue. So we want to look, when we're looking at anxiety and depression, we want to look at the gut, heal the leaky gut. For every message, one message that the brain sends down to the gut, there are 9 messages sent from the gut up to the brain. It's unbelievable. And so your gut is sending more messages to your brain. If you are eating foods that the gut is seeing as harmful, you're going to get stress messages sent from the gut, like, help me, I'm under attack, help me, I'm under attack. You're going to feel very stressed and very anxious all the time, because your gut is telling the brain there's danger, even though you're looking around and you're like, everything's fine. I don't understand why I'm so stressed. I don't understand why I'm so anxious. Why do I feel the way I'm feeling? Because your gut is telling your brain there's a problem. Mucho problemo. Then your serotonin, which is your happy hormone, which people think is made in the brain, 90% of serotonin is made in your gut microbiome. It's made by the good bacteria. It's not made by your brain. So if you are struggling with depression, instead of using like an SSRI or something, what if, just putting it out there, what if we put the bacteria back in your gut that actually makes the happy hormone, that makes the serotonin? All of a sudden your levels rise. All of a sudden you're feeling happier again. And secondly, 50 to 60% of GABA, which is a neurotransmitter as well. A neurotransmitter is basically a brain hormone, a brain messenger. 50 to 60% of your GABA is made in your gut. Now, GABA is the calming hormone. It keeps you from freaking out when somebody blows their horn or the TV goes on or something. Like, why do we not freak out whenever we hear a noise or some kind of sound or a person walks past? We don't freak out because GABA is saying to your brain, don't worry, everything's fine, there's no threat. And it keeps us calm. If you don't have the bacteria in your gut to create enough GABA, your anxiety is going to be all over the place. So yes, inflammation does play a specific role, but your anxiety and depression has more to do with your gut health, your gut and your liver health as well, which I'll get into when I do a talk on toxins. But a sluggish liver, sluggish or backed up liver can heavily affect our moods. That wouldn't be so much depression. That's more related to the gut. Your liver would be, or signs that it's your liver would more be your frustration, irritability, anger, that kind of thing. very much related to a buildup of toxins, but depression, anxiety is more related to a gut imbalance. Do you have more information on what healthy fats are? So healthy fats is, when we're looking at animals, it's your fish. You get healthy fats from fish, your salmon, your fatty fish. So not your hake, not your white flaky fish. Think of your fatty fish, your sardines, your pilchard, your salmon. And then you will get healthy fats again from grass-fed beef or pasture-raised beef, not conventional beef, not your stuff from Woolies and Checkers and Spar. You want to get pasture-raised or grass-fed. There you will get some healthy fats, but it's mainly, you also get healthy fats in eggs, but it's mainly from your fatty fish is your best animal source. And then your plant source, which is also a healthy fat, is just a different kind of fat. Is your avocados, your olives, your nuts and seeds, your almonds, your macadamia, and then your seeds, things like chia seeds and flax seeds and all those kinds of things. How many hours of fasting? I can't really answer that question. That's so individualized, but you want to do at least, the minimum is 12 hours. So 12-hour eating window, 12-hour fasting window. Having said that, that's not even fasting. Like, that's pretty much how we should be eating. It's just not. We don't eat that way. So a healthy medium for most people, a healthy and effective, is 14 hours. If you can fast for 14 hours and then have a 10-hour eating window, which is not that difficult. Like, you have your last meal maybe at 7 o'clock and you have your first meal or something at 9 a.m. the next morning. You're sleeping for 8 of those hours, guys. Like, if you are really struggling to do 14 hours, start with 12. But work up to 14. If you are really struggling to go 14 hours without food, of 8 of which you're sleeping, like, there's a problem. We really have to work on that because your body's not built to be overfed so much. It's not. Neurobian, not good. I don't know. I don't know that question. I don't know what that is. Sorry, I need clarity.
So it's my question, Stephanie. So I was asking the supplement Neurobian, which has got all the vitamin B complexes in it. That's not good, is what I'm hearing you say.
I don't know it, Lindsay. So I would need
Okay.
to take a look. What I am going to do, because now I'm curious, I'm going to do a quick little Google search and I need to look at the back. And if you say that's got all the B vitamins, let me put this in the chat so you know what to look for. Your standard B vitamin B12 is cyanocobalamin. Remember this from cyanide, like, not a good thing. We don't want this. It's a cheap form. It's used in everything. So if your B vitamins have cyanocobalamin in, not good. You want methyl, anything, it just needs to say methyl at the back, methylcobalamin. So you don't have to remember the whole term, but just if you can look for the term methyl at the back. Specifically when it's your B12 and then your B9 as well, you want methylfolate. You don't want folic acid. Folic acid is a huge driver of inflammation. It's one of the reasons why we're struggling with such a huge infertility issue at the moment, because everybody's telling women trying to get pregnant to supplement with folic acid, and that's doing big problems because all of us have 46% of us have a methylation issue. So as long as there are, says methylation. Lindsay, where did I meet you? You look very familiar. Where did I meet you?
So I actually consulted with you, and I'm the one who lives in Portugal, and I took a whole suitcase full of product, and it's been amazing. So
there we go. Amazing. Are you still in Portugal or are you back here now?
Yeah, no, still in Portugal. Still got all my buckets, I should say. So I'm a real keen one for some sachets.
Oh, of course, definitely. No, well, thank you. I'm glad that I'm so happy to see you on the call with us tonight. Really good to see your face again.
Yeah, thank you. Love to be here.
All right. Is it possible? Somebody is asking if it's possible to swap a sealed inflammation shield for something else. Whoever that is, please email me. We generally don't do that, but let's have a chat. The only reason we don't do it is purely from a health and safety perspective. Like, we monitor the quality of everything that leaves our premises incredibly closely. And the moment it's left our premises, we don't know what could have happened with the blend. We don't know. We've got just no control over that. So when we get it back, we cannot offer that to somebody else because it's left we can't have the same stamp of approval on it, basically. And it's really just from a health and safety perspective. So whoever this person is who's asking that question, please email me and we can have a chat and see what we can do to create a win-win for everybody in that situation. All right. Let's see, what else? Is there any other questions that's come up? You're welcome, Lindsay. Anything else that I can offer you guys? No, available. Perhaps also have requested not to worry anybody. Just receive the invoice. Fleming, just shoot me an email. Again, if anybody is looking for support, our email is info@vitaming.net. So just shoot us an email and let us know that you're requesting your invoices and we can get it sent to you. We do that for a few of our customers that need it. So not a problem, just let us know. You're welcome, Kathy. I'm so happy you were here with us this evening. Is the Inflammation Shield safe for kids under 12? So anybody under 12, yes, out of all the blends, the Inflammation Shield is one that children can take, but we do recommend you do only half a scoop. Please do not give them a full scoop. So 1 scoop is 1 dose. Give them half a dose to start off with. On that note about children, the one thing that the blends we don't allow, we don't have any children under like the age of 16 years, is the Detox Shield, the one I'm drinking now. And then the Thyroid Shield. We don't want children on those two. But the Stress Shield is actually really amazing for ADD support or neurodivergence, exams, anxiety, these kinds of things. It's really supportive for younger people. But again, always looking at half a dose. Currently using the Thyroid Shield, I have Hashimoto's. What would be best to use with it, gut shield or inflammation? Sorry, Almarie, this chat is... Just give me a minute, I'm going to come back. Just got to find it. I feel anxious and low at times. I also battle to lose weight. Although eating mainly protein and veggies, I do have aches and pains. Break a fast. Okay, so a couple questions in there. With Hashimoto's, you are on Thyroid Shield. Because of the anxiety as well, I would recommend that you pair it with Stress Shield. There is no need to take Inflammation Shield and Stress Shield at the same time, because both of the blends, all those ingredients I spoke about tonight, the quercetin, the curcumin, the ALA, all of that is in Thyroid Shield. It's just at a slightly lower dose in Thyroid Shield, but you have all those anti-inflammatory ingredients in there already. So I wouldn't say that it's necessary to take Inflammation Shield with it as well. But based off of what you are saying here with anxiety and feeling a little bit low, I would then pair that with Stress Shield instead. You've got aches and pains. Almarie, are you on the balance oil? Are you on an omega supplement? Because if you're struggling that much with aches and pains, again, like your situation could definitely benefit from deeper investigation. I don't know if you have watched my masterclass from a couple months ago on thyroid, how to reverse Hashimoto's. Definitely recommend you do that if you haven't. But if there's a lot of pain, there's anxiety, low moods, struggling with weight, Hashimoto's, yes, Hashimoto's can affect your weight. Obviously, it makes it difficult to lose weight, and it can bring your moods down a little bit, but there's something in there that triggers the joint pain, that's driving that inflammation. There's something in the body that triggered the Hashimoto's. There's an underlying root cause there. So it's amazing. We can turn off one of the taps with Inflammation Shield, with Thyroid Shield, with the omegas, with the balance oil. We can turn these taps off and you're looking at your diet, which is amazing. But there's something deeper there that's driving all of this stuff. And that is worth investigation. So reach out to me. I would be happy to meet with you and see what we could find there. But there's definitely deeper investigation that needs to happen. And it would be my assumption here that there's still a gut issue, because your gut issues drive Hashimoto's. So I think there's definitely still a gut issue going on here. Even though you're eating protein and you're eating vegetables, are there other things happening or that you're exposing yourself to unintentionally that's actually still destroying the gut? So I think there's more work that needs to be done in your gut. And that, again, gut problems, inflammation, everything's connected, guys. Everything, it's such a circle. And in terms of fast, most of our blends, the only one that doesn't break a fast is Detox Shield. Oh, it's getting late now. I'm losing my words. The only one that doesn't break a fast is Detox Shield. And the reason for this is because all of our other blends have fiber in it. It doesn't have a lot of fiber, but it does have fiber in it. So that is going to break a fast. Let's see. Any other questions? My sister has Hashimoto's. How do I get access to the masterclass? Please put your email address in the chat. If you guys want access to the thyroid masterclass, put thyroid and your email address in the chat now. If you want access to the gut healing masterclass, put gut and your email address now. We will look at this chat tomorrow after the masterclass. We will look at the chat after the masterclass, and then we will email you links to access those tomorrow. Okay. All right. Thanks, team. Kathy, just pop your email address in there, please. Perfect. Okay. Any other questions on inflammation? Any other topic you want to hear, you want a masterclass on? Put it in the chat. Any questions on health mastery? I love that there's so many questions on vitamin G tonight. Keep them coming. Any questions on health mastery? Put in the chat anything specific. Okay, I'm just gonna. Where do we do this? Actually, I'm muted, love. I'm just gonna mute you. There we go. I'm back. All right. If there's no other questions, I'm not going to keep you guys here. So feel free, Andrew, you got to mute yourself. Feel free to email us. I'll put the email address in below. If there's a specific topic, vitaming.net. If there's a specific topic that you want to a masterclass on, whether it is something health related, I mean like food or condition related or lifestyle related, just let me know, and we can put that together for you. All right, team, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week, and then I hope to see you all next month. I don't know the date, the last Wednesday of the month, and I'm going to be diving into rest, like how to get restful and restorative sleep. I think most people, maybe that's I don't know any statistic on it, but I think most people are not getting proper sleep. I know I didn't for most of my life. But when you do, life is amazing. I promise you, it really makes a big difference in your quality of life, in your enjoyment, in your anxiety, your depression, your excitement, all the rest. So sending you all so much love. It's been such a joy to spend tonight with you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your support of Vitamin G. We love having you guys as a community. You guys, I cannot put into words how important you are to us. So thank you for your trust and thank you for your support. And here is to a very long partnership of creating health and wellness in your life. Take care, everybody.